In keeping with the rules of the game this evening, we did have the gentleman draw lots, and Jack Davis will be our first speaker with an opening statement.
Hello, I am Jack Davis. I am not a politician. I am an engineer and manager of a profitable manufacturing company that I own and started in my garage over 40 years ago. I have created 75 good-paying jobs, offer my employees a good health care plan, and provide a fully funded profit-sharing retirement plan. The company is not for sale, and we are not offshoring jobs. I will represent the people of Clarence and the country and not special interest groups. I have financed my campaign with over $2 million of my personal funds. I am a patriot, and with this comes a duty and responsibility to help and protect America. This is my platform. I will fight to save jobs, farms, and industries. I will fight to cancel all free trade agreements and promote balanced trade. I am for a strong national defense, and I support the troops in Iraq. We should start bringing the troops home, but we should not set a date for complete withdrawal. I will not raise income taxes. On Social Security, I pledge not to decrease the benefits and not increase the retirement age and not set a wealth limit for receiving the benefits. And I will vote no to privatization of Social Security. I will work to balance the federal budget by putting Americans back to work and cutting pork. I will secure the borders and no amnesty for illegal aliens. I will take the lead in reducing the cost of health care and prescription medicines. I support federal funding of stem cell research. I will work to reduce the high cost of energy. I support eliminating the death tax, and I support your Second Amendment rights. I am a patriot, a businessman, and when elected, I will represent you and your children and support better paying jobs so that you can have a better life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tom Reynolds, your opening statement, please.
Good evening. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum. It's been an honor and privilege for me to represent Western New York's community in Congress for the past 8 years. Over that time, I have made it my #1 priority to stand up for our families, our seniors, and our communities. During this campaign, I have offered consistent, common sense platforms that are in the best interest of the people they directly benefit. I have been unwavering in my belief that Social Security must be preserved and protected. I believe that we should not raise the retirement age. I have a proud record of accomplishments that I've worked hard for. It is a record that includes cutting taxes so we can create jobs right here in Western New York. This will make us more competitive and keep families together. I'm proud of the work I've done to bring home federal investments in our area, from the important federal investment of $25 million for the UB Center in Bioinformatics and the promise of high-paying jobs that it brings, to the funding and resources for our first responders and firefighters so they can protect us. From the Clarence Hollow Sewer District, which helped lessen the property tax burden on local property taxpayers, to the infrastructure investments as Clarence works to attract businesses to the Eastern Hills Law Corridor. I have listened to the needs of local leaders and employed teamwork to improve our community. Most recently, our community was damaged by a freak storm. I woke up at 6:30 a.m. on that Friday morning and knew we had a problem, so I went to work. I worked with the governor and federal officials to secure immediate federal disaster assistance that helped our community begin the initial cleanup. I then worked with local, state, and federal officials to get a major disaster declaration so our community could continue the cleanup and our residents and businesses could get back to a normal life and have the assurances of knowing that the government was there to help them. As I have always said, no problem is too big and no problem is too small.
Thank you very much. The first question will be directed to Mr. Reynolds. What strategy do you have to save jobs and keep industry in our country? And we ask you to be as specific as possible, please.
1-minute response.
Yes.
Well, first of all, there is no solution to keeping our jobs in Western New York other than it's teamwork. It's all of us together working on the opportunity to create jobs and keep the jobs we have. That's why I've worked hard on the federal investments that this community set forth with bioinformatics, with other endeavors that we've looked at Damon College and other universities, as well as the types of things we've done to cut taxes to see one of the largest, longest opportunities of expansion of the growth of our economy at the federal level. There is no question that New York is taxed too high. It leads the nation in taxes. Some of the messages we need to look at, which are in the races of this governor's race already, are unshackle upstate New York. We pay too much taxes in upstate New York. We have seen 6.6 million jobs created across the country since 2003. It's about time in the teamwork we figure out how to bring those back here.
Thank you. Mr. Davis.
The main reason I'm running for Congress is to save jobs. The problem's in Washington. That's why I want to go to Washington. It's all the free trade and globalization policy that are caused by Reynolds and the other people in Washington that have voted for the most favored nation status for China, the World Trade Organization, and CAFTA. All these, many people right here in this room know that they are job killers. And that's why I want to go to Washington, to put jobs in Western New York. Yes, we have high taxes, but we can't compete with the predatory practices of communist China and other countries. They are targeting our industry. They're destroying our middle class, and they are making us defenseless as a nation.
The next question will be directed first to Mr. Davis. What would you do to reduce the escalating costs of medical care and prescription drugs?
First, if we're talking specifically Medicare, the laws passed by the man on my right has prohibited the Medicare department in Washington from negotiating lower medical or lower pharmaceutical costs. The Veteran Administration is buying the medicines at about 1/2 the cost that the Medicare department is. I would eliminate that. I would make the Medicare department be able to negotiate volume discounts for their price. I would also change the law so we could go across the border and buy cheaper pharmaceutical products in China. Excuse me, in Canada.
Mr. Reynolds, please.
Speaking of my opponent's comments on China, I'm pleased to say that Burns-O-Matic and Medina will be staying there and competing to make the we can compete with our world-class employees anywhere in the world, and Burns-O-Matic proves it today. On the aspect of where we are with Medicare Part B, which is prescription drugs, it is not a perfect plan. About 1/3 of Americans find themselves where Medicaid, insurance for the poorest people, have that, or those who have their labor union or their companies pay their retirement. But for the 1/3 that are caught in the trap, just start asking seniors. We have reduced the cost because competition has brought down the price of prescription drugs. There is more to be done, but that competition has done more to help
Hey, let him
Please.
Let him speak.
Let's let each individual speak, and let's have the courtesy of listening to our guests. Thank you.
In my 15 seconds left, I believe that more seniors have lower prices on prescription drugs today than they've ever had. And all you have to do is call up one of the providers and just ask for some of those seniors to tell you the opportunity they have had versus both parties promising for years they would do something about prescription drugs. Today, Medicare Part D helps those seniors with drug cost coverage.
The next question will be addressed first to Mr. Reynolds. It has to do with fiscal responsibility. The Bush administration has increased the national debt significantly while cutting taxes. How would you propose to return to fiscal responsibility?
First of all, I believe that tax cuts work. When we did capital gains reduction and we did dividend reduction, we found the federal government took in $95 billion more than they anticipated in 2005. Well, all the naysayers who wanted to raise taxes or not cut taxes found that it was rather shocking to see $95 billion come into our coffers. We're also well on our way of reducing the national deficit in half over the 5 years that the President outlined by holding the line on spending. But I want to also bring back a little history. In 2001, we found ourselves with New York City destroyed. That is worth 15% of our state's revenue. And that $20 billion the federal government came in to assist New York City and New York State was critical. The $20 billion of looking at bailing out our airlines was to keep commercial airline traffic in existence today. Homeland Security is a new investment that we learned just recently the reality of having to make the investment. And finally, funding the war on terror has taken a toll on our budget.
Thank you very much. Jack Davis, please.
We're spending $2 billion a week in Iraq. I will bring the troops home. I will cut foreign aid. And I will put people back to work so we can pay taxes. We gotta stop this huge $2 billion a day trade deficit. If people are working, they can pay taxes. That's all.
Thank you. The next question will go first to Mr. Davis. What is your position on right to life or choice and gay rights? And do you support stem cell research?
I mentioned earlier I do support stem cell research, and a woman should control her own body. And I want to talk about important things, not gay rights.
Mr. Reynolds?
I believe in the sanctity of life. I also believe in the sanctity of marriage, and that marriage should be between one man and one woman. I have supported adult stem cell research. I have supported cord blood research. My family has been ravaged by diabetes and cancer and heart concerns. Even have a brother-in-law with Parkinson's disease. I've looked this square in the eye and will not take the life of an embryonic stem cell by having federal funding for that. For those states and those private institutions who want to do that research, I wholeheartedly support their endeavors. But at this point, scientific research leaves the questions of whether to put federal investment to that. And so as we look at adult stem cells continuing, and we look at cord blood, and we look at the opportunities for other future endeavors with stem cell research, we will continue with that research in our country today as a great opportunity. And for those who want to do additional research, they can do that without federal funding.
Thank you very much. No, we're not final comments at all. I got confused, my apologies. This would go back to a question for Mr. Reynolds regarding term limits. Many feel that term limits would help to restore integrity in government. What is your position?
I believe the best term limits are going to be an election next Tuesday for the people to decide who is going to be their member of Congress and every other office. I will also say that when it comes to my career, while I've spent 9 years on the Concord Town Board, 6 years in the county legislature, 10 years in the Assembly, and now 8 years in the Congress, I bring a wealth of experience at every level of government to do my job to make sure this area is well represented in the Congress of the United States.
Mr. Davis, again, a question on term limits.
Yes, I will serve no more than 8 years in Congress. I believe in term limits, and I believe that Congressman Reynolds, though he believes in being a career politician, he's been on the payroll for 30 years. I've never drawn a government check except when I was in the service. Also, he's gerrymandered this district, so he's certainly not for not gerrymandering. He's paid $145,000 to Albany Republicans to get a safe district, so we can have a safe district to run in, which makes it almost impossible to beat him in a fair election. So term limits and gerrymandering should be eliminated. Oh, no, four term limits against gerrymandering. Thank you.
We have time for a couple more questions. Okay, this question will go to Jack Davis first, please. What would you do to make sure our area is defended by Homeland Security? Do you support continued funding for first responder equipment?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Reynolds.
There he goes again. You gotta listen to the radio to get what he really thinks versus high-priced paper. You know, he said on the radio he wasn't going to support a timeline on Cooper Draw. You've heard him now. He talked about some of the other aspects of this, but when you begin to look at the basis of some of the comments that he has put out, the fact is that Jack Davis has been pretty politically expedient to give you whatever answer fits for the day. And he's continuing to modify that, except he's left a trail and a record throughout his 2 years of running for Congress. So as we look at this, I look forward to the same consistent delivery you've always seen from me. What I say I mean, and what I mean I have always given you the facts straightforward.
Thank you very much. Our final question deals with travel to Canada and throughout the Western Hemisphere. Access to Canada is very important. What is your stand on travel within the Western Hemisphere and immigration within this hemisphere? And I believe it's Mr. Reynolds again.
First of all, it's very important post 9/11 we have adequate and safe and strong border security. However, when we look at traveling to Canada, WHTI, which the question addresses, I have said it needs to be simple, accessible, and economical. And quite frankly, the government, between the State Department and Homeland Security, has found themselves in a turf war, which has delayed appropriate action of having equipment and the necessary training at our borders in order to make this safe and efficient, economical, and quite frankly, simple. And until that happens, we need to have a delay, which is what legislation I've introduced with Senator Coleman, but it's also been attached to the appropriations bill on Homeland Security, which will set forth an 18-month delay, which is what this community has asked for, so that we can make sure that we have a simple, accessible, and economical plan under WHTI.
The final response will be from Jack Davis.
Say that again?
Response.
Response.
The question had to do with travel within this, travel and immigration within Canada and...
I would address that more as an amnesty for illegal aliens. We have to close our southern borders. We have over 20 million illegals, 12 to 20 million illegal aliens in this country. We have 20,000 crossing our borders daily. We have to seal the borders. Not only is it a matter of homeland security, but a matter of economy. They are the social, the criminal And the charge to our schools is just going to bankrupt our border states. We have to do something. We have to build a wall along our southern border.
Okay, we're to the end now. We will have Mr. Reynolds please make his closing statement.
I've been saying from day one, this race is about choice. A choice between higher job-killing taxes or more money in your pockets. A choice between preserving Social Security or making radical, reckless changes. A choice between a proven leader who has the experience and wherewithal to fight for Western New York's fair share in Washington, or a candidate who offers contradicting positions and dangerous doublespeak. From providing millions of dollars in federal monies to places like the Roswell Park Cancer Center, to securing crucial funding so that the residents can rebuild and repair with relief in the wake of October's storm, I have and will continue to do what it takes for the people of Western New York. Nobody will listen clearer, work harder, or fight longer to represent the people of the 26th District. I love our community. I love serving all of you. And I hope on November 7th, you'll make the choice to give me another opportunity to be your congressman. Thank you.
To make his closing statement.
I think we have a stacked crowd here. People ask, Jack, why are you doing this? I respond, I love America. I am a patriot, and I believe in our military motto, duty, honor, country. I see terrible economic conditions in the future of our country. I think I can make a difference. I know I have to try. I am running for Congress to make a better future for you and your children. Our country is being controlled by multinational corporations. They have bought many congressmen. The proof of this is the over $4 million Reynolds has received from outside his district. This money has been used to buy attack ads you have seen on TV, heard on radio, and received by mail. Ask yourself, the next time you see one of his ads, what is he selling? I cannot be bought. I will represent you, the people, not the multinational corporations that have no allegiance to our country. They are exporting our jobs and industries, and by doing this, our ability to defend our Republican observed the letter of the law, but still failed the real test of moral leadership.
Please allow our guests to continue.
Yeah. Then wrote, Davis too deserves serious consideration for his passionate championship of jobs for the working class. They further compare Reynolds' clout to Davis' character. Personally, I would always vote for character. Will you?